Now it's really time to get practical because we've really made the miHealth incredibly simple and easy to use. So all you have to do is grab your miHealth, do a scan just by putting a couple of your fingers on the device here. And once we've got our scan, we're going to see up on the miHealth screen all of your energetic rejuvenator spots. So you don't have to work out which are the priorities that your body wants you to treat with the miHealth. You can literally just go directly in and you can see that we have, well, in this case we're just going to have a look at ER15, which is the midbrain, and we're going to have a look at ER31, which is the eyes. Pull up on my miHealth here. I'm going to look at these folders on the front screen. We'll see here that there's an ER folder. It's as simple as hitting the folder and then you just scroll down to ER15. Now ER15 is the midbrain, and because the midbrain is sitting under a bunch of hair back here, that gives us the option of interacting with our midbrain in a slightly different way. The miHealth interacts electrically with the body's autonomic nervous system that aids its self-regulatory abilities. However, the nervous system doesn't just work on electrical impulses. It also produces fields for information to be carried on and is a major component of what we call the human body field. We aren't limited to transferring information electrically. We can also transfer information using fields, and as such, the miHealth has a broadcast mode which transfers information using a pulsed electromagnetic frequency directly into the body field, of which your field cell receptors can communicate with each other. So we're just going to select here the ER15. We're going to put it in the broadcast mode right here, and then we're just going to hit go, and all we have to do is literally just hold it over the spot that we're trying to treat, so in this case the midbrain, and let it do its thing. So we just do that for a couple of minutes and then we might want to move on to another spot. So in our case, because on the ER screen ER31 came up, we would then select ER31 from the menu here, which is eyes. Now for the eyes, we're going to do this a little bit differently. We could just carry on and do it in broadcast mode, but let's just have a look at the electrical mode. So we're just going to leave it in its conventional status, which is in the electrical mode. We're going to hit go, and the eyes, obviously we're not going to put the device straight on our eyeballs, but what we can do, dragging the miHealth around the eyes like this, and you'll start to hear a little sound. Now that sound is the magnetic field of the device interacting with your skin's capacitance, which ends up making this little sort of humming noise, so you know it's working. And it doesn't have to hurt. Generally you just turn it up till there's a little bit of a tingle, and when you can feel that tingle, that's fine. The body just needs a signal to help to correct its autonomic nervous system, i.e. to help correct and give some signals to its control system. It doesn't need a sledgehammer, which often we always think more is better. In the case of trying to help the body's own healing mechanisms, more is not better. All we're trying to do is subtly indicate to the body what's needed, and the body generally does the rest. You can also do some general energy treatments up and down the spine. So for this, we would go into the energy folder and select, for instance, energy align, and then we would go up and down the spine. Or someone with pain want to retrain those tissues as an immediate priority, in addition to the more overall health enhancing aspects of the ERs.
If you're at a sports event, somebody says they've got a sore knee, the moment you treat the knee, they feel their hip, suddenly they feel the back, and then you're suddenly down the spine again and round the body. As long as you hang on to them, notice I've got this hand. Right, there we go. Now, because the patient can feel the miHealth, they can give you feedback on what they're feeling. So it's feeling further up. There we go. In fact, there it is. It's just grabbed again there. So the body is live, it's interacting, it's dynamic with the miHealth device. Very rapidly you can change conditions that patients have or sports people might recognize and typically just push through. And with the miHealth, they're able to make sure they don't turn it into a full-time problem.
So I'm just going to select here the Mind folder, and in it you'll see something called Emotional Stress Release. We have Inner Peace, Mental Clarity, Sleep, Liberator, which helps to release thoughts from your subconscious into your conscious, and it gives you pretty incredible dreams. We also have Chill, which is a relaxing one, and also Love, which is also the top chakra.
So this time I'm going to use Inner Peace. Same energy setting. Now we're starting to see asymmetries coming to the surface. So different applications often provide different responses in the body. You notice I've changed my left hand position. Previously I was creating tension in the tissue by straddling the spine. Depending on how the tissue's moving, holding the tissue this way one side can easily create a convenient and suitable canvas to work with. If the process of the spine is very predominant, as in lots of ups and downs of bone, you don't want to be bumping the spine top to bottom, do you? If it was very predominant, you might choose one side and then the other, one side and then the other, slowly working down the spine. Try and resist working one side only and then working the other though, because you'll create an imbalance in that way. Think of things as going from top to bottom. Let's do one more. So in this case, we could go for Chill. Try and be consistent with the energy levels. You might find clues to what you want to use down the spine in your scan. This is a really useful treatment for relaxing, helping them go into parasympathetic.
Let's just have a look at another folder. So we have the transformations or the chakras. These are very similar to chakra systems, but we've renamed them slightly. So we have Love, which is the crown chakra, then we have Contentment, which is the third eye, Honesty, which is the throat chakra, and then we carry on down the body like that. So we have Charisma, Tolerance, Willpower, and Trust. And then we have this very, very cool feature where you can basically do a cycle of all of them. So it'll basically run it for 27 minutes, around 6 minutes per chakra, and that'll just give you a really, really good general overall balancing of your whole chakra system, or if you like, your whole body field. And we have a similar one like that in the energy folder, which is the Chinese cycle. So if we select the Chinese cycle, this actually is a 24-hour cycle. You might think, oh my goodness, does the miHealth run out of battery? You can actually keep the miHealth on and running for days at a time before it will run out of battery. So yeah, you generally don't have any issues with that. But basically every 2 hours in the Chinese meridian theory becomes a different time. So you get lung time or you get liver time, etc. And this helps balance the different meridians and different organ systems at their right time of day, which can be really, really useful. I often use it on just long flights or long travel, just to help rebalance the system when I get to a new location, because your whole circadian rhythm is out. So when you land for the next day or two, you just want to help to realign all of your body's rhythms and get things back in balance. It's pretty good at that. Then we have things like Wellbeing folder. The Wellbeing folder has basically a collection of different things. So we have things that will help immunity, especially colds and flu, food for food allergies. Then we have digestion, head, skin, memory, sleep, anti-aging, hearing, and fat.
Now, in the Wellbeing folder of the miHealth, there's many different things that are there to help you. One of them is digestion. So Harry's in this precarious position with his sushi, and he doesn't want to see it again today. So we're going to brush his abdominals and support the digestive tract. So here we go. I'm choosing digestion, and here we go. So I'm going to choose an area just above the navel. I found a focal point, so now I'm actually going to paint one of those crosses on it, bringing focus to that area. And as I said, the body directs us into this, so we're just starting to get a bit of a change there. Now I'm going to go back to where I was, and I'm starting to do that spiral again. Bang, it's got caught there again. So that's all right.
Well, that is where it feels a bit congested too.
So this will help the body process things, and obviously we're following the natural piping, as you might say. There we go, it's going to head that way, so we're supporting it in that process. In fact, it's just started to loosen up. You notice I'm able to draw the device through that area a little bit easier now. There we go.
Perfect. And when do you actually tend to do this? When someone's suffering from digestion issues?
Look, sometimes it might be as a result of eating food. It also can support things like headaches. If you had a headache, we would be able to treat both your head, your neck to try and help locally, but then we'll also be able to look at things like your abdominal projection and say, okay, let's support this area. Lots of people get headaches when they have food that doesn't agree with them.
We also have the protection folder. Now, the protection folder basically just helps with things like electromagnetic frequencies, computer, radio, etc. And again, we just have a cycle for that. You can just leave it going to help yourself with that. So that's just a good brief look at some of the added functionality that you can do just beyond the ERs. Really, the miHealth you think about using in 3 ways. So there's using it to balance the overall energy of all of the different organ systems and body field generally, which is the ER screen that's tied into the bioenergetic wellness scan, and there's 70 different ERs. You can pretty much tackle all parts of the body field through that. Or there's the more emergency symptomatic way of using the miHealth. Now, if someone is in a huge amount of pain, let's say they've got shoulder pain or knee pain or massive migraine, for instance, they don't really care about a particular ER spot right in that moment. What they want is to feel better right now. So in that case, you're just going to go straight into the physical folder, select the right function. Mostly that'll just be chronic or acute balance. You're just going to get in there and help the body retrain itself using that biofeedback to help to alleviate their symptoms. Cyril's going to show us how to reduce some of the pain in my wrist.
Certainly. So, first thing, you'd obviously have a look at it. How long has it been going on for, Harry?
Well, in this particular case, about 2 weeks, but it's from a long-term chronic problem.
Okay, so there's both chronic and acute components of it. You've probably got inflammation here, and you've been agitating it in a variety of ways.
Well, I'm unfortunate enough to have snapped a tendon in there, so it does get aggravated repetitively.
Okay, well, we've got quite a few choices then. Within the physical folder, which I'd consider this a physical starting point, I might start with physical rejuvenation, which is a broad treatment that'll give us a little idea what's happening inside. So I've just chosen that on the device. I'm just drawing it around the area. Straight away we're getting sensations that are telling us maybe a starting point of problems, the asymmetry. The device is grabbing in that area. You've probably got a heightened sensitivity there. You can feel it a little more.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll just draw through the area that you were focused on. Now it's clear here. Here we're finding something. And it almost feels like braille. I feel the little sensations of the device vibrating. So we've just opened that up. And
what setting did you have that in?
I started with physical rejuvenation. Now I've used that to open it up. That's the first on the physical folder. But now I'm actually going to do something else. Now I've opened it up, I'm going to use the next one down, which is chronic. Okay, so that's chronic physical. There you go. And now you can hear it sounds slightly different, but it's also changing the type of information patterns that are going in. So we're, should we say, sharing the patterns with the body. There we go.
Yeah, and chronic and acute balance, they're basically for pain. So chronic balance is really for chronic pain. Acute balance is really for acute pain. And if you don't really know what to do and someone's in pain, you literally just use the chronic or the acute setting. And chronic if it's been there for a long time, acute if it's a recent injury. And there are a lot of other options like nerve and rejuvenation and these other types of functions. But really for the purposes of getting to know the miHealth and just getting it to be really effective, you can actually just go straight to using it on the chronic and acute setting.
Now we've just provided 3 different settings to you: physical, chronic and acute. Now just give us a little motion, tell us what's happening and tell us where the extension is. Okay, that's it.
Oh, that's better. And the third way of using the miHealth is, as we were describing, with all of these different functions. So if you're traveling and you purposely want to reset your circadian rhythm, you might use the Chinese cycle. Or if you're traveling and want to have some protection to EMF, you might use the protection folder. Or if you're just gearing yourself up for a competitive sport, you may want to use some of the functions in the energy folder. There's also a bunch of really interesting ways that you can use the miHealth that are a little bit out of the ordinary. So for instance, if you want to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, i.e. you want to stimulate the vagus nerve so you can calm down the parasympathetic nervous system, allow people to start digesting food and get out of that fight and flight and just start to repair the body, then you can actually just interact straight with the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system using the miHealth in a variety of ways. So the simplest is we can just take the miHealth and just treat directly over the ear. So yeah, that's a pretty simple way of doing it. If you want to go a bit deeper than that, you can go actually inside the ear in here. So we've got a couple of sort of little spherical balls on here, and then we can just stick them through the ears, and you can look quite silly like this. And that actually has a dual effect because it's also a really good brain treatment, because the current's going right through your brain and back, and you can just swap the polarity over for doing that. You can also use the miHealth as a direct current transcranial neurofeedback style device, so you can just treat on the forehead and all of around here with it. Again, if you want to get more fancy, you don't necessarily need to, but you can use a comb that's plugged into the miHealth in one of these sockets. You can basically use a comb to get right through your hair more easily. However, actually the miHealth just alone, you don't actually need a comb to the miHealth alone, because of the way we design these electrodes on the top of the miHealth. You can basically get into the hair. You'll be able to feel the signal directly on your scalp despite having the hair. Although if you have really thick hair, then I would recommend a comb. You can also use broader, more spherical electrodes like this, so you might want to give a light sort of lymphatic type massage with these 2 devices. And obviously, because it's not limited to the size of the device, you can move them around your body like this. You can also use the miHealth on the lips. Now, using the miHealth directly on the lips is a great way of retraining the whole of the digestive tract. So you just put them on like this. You can also stimulate hormones through stimulating the nipples and also other more erroneous areas of the body. You can also help digestion directly by just going on the stomach. And if you're trained in Chinese meridians, you can also treat directly on the acupuncture points with the corner of the device. We conducted a large outcome study that included 251 subjects with a number of chronic conditions and which collected data across 367 data points. Now, in that study, 93% of participants, they benefited from the miHealth by the second session, and 85% of them reported an immediate positive effect from the therapy in the first session. Now, if you want to look at more details of that, please just have a look at the study on our website. Our original vision was to create an overall health system that can restore people's energy across all aspects of their life. Now, the miHealth really completes the bioenergetic wellness system as it addresses physical energy blockages or retrains the body's autonomic nervous system, which helps to give the body the chance to repair itself, especially when presented with the right information provided by the infoceuticals selected by the scan.
Now, the device is able to treat both on and off body. So let's have a look what it looks like off body. So this is where I'm not touching him directly on the skin. So in this case, I've chosen ER6, the lungs. And here we are. This is the lungs area, comes from effectively the clavicle down into the chest and then back up. And at the moment I'm operating it in off-body mode. So it's producing a PMF, providing information patterns to open up those energy pathways. Now, the device has a timer, and typically we might place it on around the body for maybe 2 minutes. We could go over the top, we could go over the back. This is all opening up that lungs area as indicated by the scan.
So you mean, Cyril, you don't have to be completely precise on the spot that comes up in the screen. You can be a bit broader than that.
No, absolutely. The body has a field, and this device is interacting with that field. So as a result, we're placing information in this area, the body is picking it up and using it as it wishes. So this is a very gentle treatment, very easy to work with. And because it's your scan, your information required that information, so you're the one taking that energy on.
Why use on-body versus off-body on the ERs?
Well, there are different interactions. Off-body is ideal for going just straight into the body field, but some bodies literally react differently with different deliveries. Some take infoceuticals very well, some take off-body very well, some take on-body very well. Now, if you can feel the device, you'll often notice changes much quicker in your consciousness. There might be asymmetries, blockages that relate to this ER, and we can identify them and find them very quickly with this.
So I think you're saying for people who like the tactile feeling, on body the signal will penetrate more deeply and will make a better sort of link in their brains.
Their emotional link to it will accelerate their recovery, yes.
Perfect. And then with off body, the information is carried into the field anyway, so it still works. But for some people, they may not believe that. It may be a bit too woo. So if people think it's woo, then use on body.
Look, yeah, it certainly suits a lot of mindsets where they're used to having physical contact and sensing it. But the technology we have today operates both on body and off body. And the studies that have been done, the outcome studies for the miHealth, show very clearly in the data that both on and off body were highly effective. So mix and matching it is probably the best way to go. Can you update the viewers as to how that's feeling and what types of changes are occurring?
It's not numb anymore, I feel. I have a sensation.
Isn't that fabulous?
Yes.
So you're feeling new awareness of what was happening.
Yes, amazing. Thank you.